Hey everybody, Dr. Jason Dean here, drjasondean.com, your source for health, freedom, and knowledge. And my schedule was a little crazy today, and so I was like, am I gonna be able to get a video in? Let's do it while I'm parked. I am parked. So I've had a lot of the same things in the last week when talking to the patients that I do talk to, both in my Central Florida location, as well as people all around the globe, United States, as well as farther. And some of the same trends have occurred in the last at least week or two, months, but we've also been battling this stuff for, years at this point now, if you've ever watched this channel. And recently, it's uncomfortable to think about, but a lot of people dealing with loose stool, a lot of people deal with major digestive stuff, pain and achiness. Now, I'm not talking about like joint pain like you've had it for 10, 20, 30 years. I'm talking about recent achiness, muscle pain for people who don't necessarily have that stuff. Sleep issues, right? So last night, neither my wife or I slept well. Now, when I say that, that doesn't mean that you're waking up all the time, right? Let me clarify that. There's a difference between actual sleep issues as well as other stuff going on. What I mean by actual sleep issues, some of you have trouble going to bed. Some of you wake up exhausted. Some of you are up 1, 2, 3, 5. I've heard people being up 10 times a night to go to the bathroom, or up and they're struggling to go back to sleep. It's almost like an insomnia, but not insomnia. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about I go to sleep very easily. When I lay down, unless I've had coffee really late, or, I took a nap on a Saturday and it was a late nap or something like that. Typically, I can lay down anywhere between 9:30 at night and midnight and go to sleep within 5-10 minutes max, usually under 5 minutes. Very fast asleep. I don't get up in the middle of the night. And then depending on how early I get up, go to bed, I might be up at 4 or 5 in the morning. How late I go to bed, it might be 7 or 8, just depending on the day. The reason I say that is waking up, I wake up and I jump out of bed. I'm very thankful for that. That's a lot of work on our health, etc. My wife's similar. I know a lot of people struggle getting up, but waking up after 6 to 8 hours of sleep and noticing you didn't have restful sleep, right? You didn't rest while you're sleeping. Your deep sleep, right? I wear a Whoop. Sometimes I wear an Oura ring. I'm on the Whoop now because I just like the data a little bit better. It's a little deeper data for me. I like that. So I can track my REM sleep. I can track my light sleep. I can track my deep sleep, and more. I can track my cardiovascular system, etc. So my deep sleep is there, but I'm not waking up rested because there's a lot of energy going on right now. If some people in the health world don't necessarily understand the energy part. Parasites, bacteria are all part of this game. Now, I've been telling people something that I have recognized, and this is part of your healthcare journey, everybody. We are changing and we are shifting into a brand new world. Now, let me break this down into kind of categories, okay? And if you're a Gen Xer, I am a Gen Xer, right? I am like smack dab Gen X. Our world is changing. Now, we have, let's say, the baby boomers, right? A lot of people, you call them boomers out there, right? I don't even know the actual age it starts at, but let's say it's 65, 70 and higher. Now, excuse me for some of the words that I'm going to use, right? Because some people out there who are older are not going to, you may not totally fit into this paradigm, but you also may not like how I say this. But essentially the boomers are exiting this realm. They're exiting this place in the next, say, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, right? They're phasing out. That's life. We're born, we grow, we get to the end of our lives, and we move on. The boomers are very set in their ways. Very. If you know boomers, most of them are very set in their ways. Again, I'm saying the majority. There are obviously minorities out there, boomers who are very, very different, act much younger than their age. That's fine. Now, I'm going to leave Gen X for a second because that's what I am, because I'm going to come back to the Gen X, right? Now, we go to Millennials and Gen Z. They are in their own category. Now, one, they're much less healthier. You boomers out there, yes, you're dealing with parasites. Yes, you're dealing with toxins. Yes, you're dealing with, bacteria, etc. But you're also healthier usually. Folks, the Millennials and Gen Zs, they are parasite infested. They've had a lot more injections. They are bacteria infested. They are toxin, heavy metal, chemical, plastic infested. They just are. I look at it every day. My Millennials and Gen Zs are far sicker than my boomers. Even the boomers on medications are healthier than these Millennials and Gen Zers. Now, Millennials and Gen Z, here's the thing. You guys only know one world, and that is a mostly technology world. You're a different time period, man, right? Like, I can bring up television shows from my growing up. I can bring in movies from my growing up. I can bring in bands, music, etc. And when we talk about some of these bands, movies, shows, toys, video games that I grew up with, I didn't grow up with live streaming video games. I wasn't streaming on Twitch and YouTube. Like, we had a Nintendo, we had a Sega, PlayStation, right? Like, it was plugged into the wall. There was no internet. That group doesn't even know our stuff. I've said band names out loud. They're like, who's that? I'm like, what do you mean, who is that? Right? They're also dealing with a lot more infections, a lot more toxicities. The parasites run wild. Now, Gen Alpha, and I'm a little bit twisted on what the generations are after Z, right? Like, I don't follow it and track it. I'll use my daughter as an example, right? I think that's Gen Alpha. And she is more like our Gen X, right? Really, it's quite strange. And I think it's because the Gen X's have raised them, technically. Now, I bring that back. Let's come back around to the Gen X group, right? We are just different. We are special. And I'm going to say we are special. We are less sick. Now, if you guys out there in the Gen X world, you've got lots of stuff put in your arm, taking a lot of medications, it might be different for you. I do my own MVX tests, and I am not my age, right? Right now, I feel like I'm 20, and I'm more than 20. I can still physically do most everything today that I did when I was 20. Gen X, me, you out there. I grew up in a day without the cell phone. I grew up without technology. I grew up having to leave the house in the morning, ride my bike all day, drink water out of the water hose. There were days that we didn't get lunch, but we had an apple orchard up the road near my grandparents' house. And, when we got hungry in the middle of the day, we stopped at a crabapple orchard, jumped in the tree, ate 5 apples, kept going. We weren't allowed back in the house till later, right? But then at the same time, I got my first cell phone, I think at like 20, 21 years old. I'm in the world of AI now. I actually use a wearable. Gen X is different, man. I know the old world. I love the old world. I know the new world. I love the new world. We are ready for this transition, but we are struggling a little bit of losing what we grew up with, because we know there's foundations, values, traditions there that we must keep going forward, because our kids are technology driven. Like, my daughter knows the old shows. My daughter watches Scooby-Doo. My daughter is now watching the Addams Family that I grew up with, because we have taught her our world. But she also knows the AI world. She knows the ChatGPT world. She knows the internet world. She knows the YouTube world, etc. Because you have to teach them so that they don't become effective at it. Now, why do I say that? I grew up drinking out of the water hose. We know parasites. I can go right now. I don't do this. I can go and eat a week worth of junk food right now. I can go eat fast food. I don't do that. And I'm okay. Because my body has adapted. I have handled most of the parasites. I have handled a lot of bacteria. I have gotten a lot of the toxins out of the system. Millennials, Gen Z, you guys struggle. Health struggles because you've been injected with a tremendous amount of junk into your body. You were all raised on medications, allergies, everything, right? You were raised on completely crappy food. You had the parasites put in you. You had the bacteria put in you. You had the mold, the plastics. You guys are wearing... Lululemon is being sued in the state of Texas because their clothes are so terrible. Well, Millennials, Gen Z, you wear that shit every day. I don't wear that. You know why I don't wear it? One time, before I knew Lululemon, because I was way behind on that trend, I was looking for some workout and active clothes for my wife. So I went to Lululemon not knowing. I walked in there and I picked a pair of the pants, whatever you call them. And I went, $150 for plastic pants that cost them probably $5 to make. Target's selling the same thing down the road for $20. I digress. Folks, we are struggling with a timeline shift. A lot of people are going to struggle with their health going forward because they're not cleaning themselves up. Why is Gen X doing much better than everybody else? Because we've been through this. We had to drink out of the water hose. Our hands were in the dirt. We had to eat from the apple orchard. We ate mostly clean. Our parents, my mom growing up, she fed me pretty clean. I only ate junk when I got my own money to eat junk. My mom didn't raise me that way. We're different. We're stronger. We are going through this shift. But when you find yourself not sleeping, it's because we're aware enough to know this is coming. We can feel the energies. Those energies this week, last week, the last year, the last 2 years, your parasites are screaming for junk. Your bacteria are screaming for junk. The toxins in your body are also supporting all that. So if you're struggling through this, not only are you struggling through a spiritual war, right? You're also struggling through a health war because it's telling you have stuff in you got to get rid of. All right? So clean yourself up. Get that full moon protocol in you. Let's kill that stuff off. I have different levels after that, so get started now. Also, get your MVX test. I look at them every day. I'm able to find out what's going on with your cardiac levels, your liver levels, toxin levels, parasite levels, bacteria levels, inflammation levels. I have people who have lost 10 to 30 pounds within a month just getting off water weights and inflammation. And then we have to go after the parasites. Hang in there, everybody. We'll get through this, but you got to clean yourself up from a health standpoint, okay? Head over to drjasondean.com. Get started there. If you want the MBX test, you can go to the website. It's there as well, but also you can go directly to www.drjasondean.com/MVX. M as in metabolic, V as in Victor, X as in xylophone. drjasondean.com/MVX, everybody. I want you to have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your Wednesday. Be well. Love, serve, and help the best you possibly can. Get stronger. Get healthier. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.